There are three ways to claim R&D tax credits. One costs nothing up front but typically leaves money on the table. One is free to start but carries compliance risk you may not be aware of. And one typically costs you nothing unless you actually get paid. Here is the honest comparison, including the risks of each approach that most people in this space will not tell you. By the end of this video, you will understand the practical difference between a DIY claim, an accountant-prepared claim, and a specialist-prepared claim. You will know the specific risks of each approach under the current rules, and you will have a clear basis for deciding which route makes sense for your company's situation. No sales pitch, just the comparison. This video features an AI-generated presenter. All content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute tax or financial advice. Always consult a regulated specialist for your specific circumstances. Here is the context. HMRC paid out £7.5 billion in R&D tax relief in 2022 to 2023. The average SME claim was approximately £66,000, and yet the majority of eligible companies have never claimed. When companies start thinking about claiming, the first question is almost always, do we need to pay someone to do this, or can we do it ourselves? That is a reasonable question, and the answer has changed since August 2023, when HMRC introduced the additional information form. Before the AIF, a DIY or accountant-prepared claim was more straightforward. Now, the bar is higher. Let me take each approach in turn. The DIY route means your finance team or founders prepare the claim without external help. The appeal is obvious. No fees, no sharing information with a third party. The risk is less obvious than it looks. Since August 2023, every R&D claim requires a completed additional information form submitted before the amended corporation tax return. The AIF requires structured project descriptions for each qualifying project. For each project, you must describe the advance sought, the baseline state of knowledge, the specific uncertainty, and the approach taken to resolve it. That is not a financial task. It is a technical writing task that requires understanding HMRC's qualifying criteria well enough to frame your work in the precise terms HMRC's compliance team is trained to evaluate. A vague description is the single most common trigger for an HMRC compliance inquiry. And if HMRC opens a compliance check on your claim, the cost in management time, accountant fees, and delay typically exceeds whatever you saved by doing it yourself. DIY is possible, but the risk of undervaluing the claim or triggering an inquiry is highest on this route. Most general practice accountants are not R&D specialists. That is not a criticism, it is simply a description of how the profession works. A generalist accountant handles year-end accounts, corporation tax, VAT, payroll, management accounts, and a range of advisory work across multiple clients in multiple sectors. Maintaining the depth of knowledge in R&D tax, including HMRC's current compliance focus, the AIF requirements, and the merge scheme changes from April 2024, is not realistic alongside that breadth of work. The practical result: an accountant who handles a client's R&D claim once a year may miss qualifying cost categories. They may draft project descriptions that are thinner than HMRC expects, and they may not catch the overseas subcontractor exclusion that now applies under the merge scheme. This is why industry analysis consistently shows specialist-prepared claims recover more than accountant-prepared claims on the same qualifying expenditure base. The third route is using an R&D tax specialist. A specialist who works on R&D claims full-time is fluent in HMRC's qualifying criteria across sectors. They know which activities hold up under scrutiny and which do not. They know how to write project descriptions that HMRC's compliance team finds credible, and they know which cost categories most companies miss. The question most people ask is, what does it cost? On a no-win, no-fee basis, the answer is nothing if HMRC does not pay. The specialist fee is a percentage of the claim value, paid from the recovery. If your claim is rejected or your company does not qualify, you pay nothing. That structure aligns the specialist's interest directly with yours. They only get paid if they produce a compliant, successful claim. The trade-off is the success fee itself, which varies by specialist. A typical success fee on an SME claim is somewhere between 20 and 35% of the claim value. On an average £66,000 claim, that is between £13,000 and £23,000 in fees. The honest question is whether the specialist finds more than they cost. For most companies claiming for the first time or with complex cost structures, they do. Whichever route you go, one thing overrides everything else. R&D claims must be filed within 2 years of the end of the accounting period they relate to. That deadline does not bend. Spending 6 months deciding which route to take is 6 months of that window gone. An assessment takes less than an hour, and knowing whether there is something to claim is the first step regardless of which route you then choose. So, to bring this together, DIY claims are possible but carry the highest risk of undervaluing the claim or triggering an inquiry. Accountant-prepared claims are common but often leave qualifying costs unidentified. Specialist-prepared claims on a no-win, no-fee basis align the specialist's interests with yours. You only pay if you get paid. The average SME claim is £66,000 a year. Whatever route you take, the first step is the same. Find out if there is something to claim, and find out before the window closes. If anything in this video resonated with your situation, the next step is straightforward. There is a free, no-obligation assessment linked in the description below. You will hear about your company's qualifying activities, get a view on whether there is a claim, and if there is, be introduced to a regulated specialist on a no-win, no-fee basis. It takes 5 minutes to complete. If nothing comes of it, there is nothing to pay. The link is uplifttax.com/partners/M7X2K9. It is also pinned in the comments. If you found this useful, the video on the additional information form gives you the detail on what any route needs to produce. It is on screen now. I will see you in the next one.